You know, I get it. When someone is building two ginormous houses beside your house, not only do you go through the pain and anguish of time, of dirt, of noise, but on top, all of a sudden, things appear to start happening to you.
Definite flooding in the basement.
Our damage to our property was as a result of their construction project.
What a mess. Somebody's really messed this house up electrically.
To have someone have such a big heart who just wants to help people who have been taken advantage of or who are in trouble. You know, you don't find that every day.
Hello, you must be Nel.
I am.
Hi, Nel. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Good start. Thank you for coming.
Tom,
Mr. Holmes, how are you?
pleasure to meet you.
That's our pleasure.
Hey, I'll get you to come outside if you don't mind.
Sure.
This is a beautiful neighborhood. Nel and Tom and their two kids have been living in this neighborhood for about 10 years. Very mature neighborhood, and all of a sudden feeling the pressure because of two big houses that were custom built right beside them, almost sandwiching them in. Every once in a while, I get called in to be the referee. I mean, think about it. There's two houses side by side. One's a huge, huge custom home. Problems start to arise.
I remember the first day that we discovered the flood.
You can see the darkness on the carpet as the waters come in.
I immediately thought of what had to be done and the money that had to be spent. The waterproofing, the gutting, the loss of the basement, the loss of space.
Just to show our first look at what we're going to be ripping up here.
I couldn't stop being emotional. I couldn't stop crying. And my 12-year-old came up to me and put his arms around me and said, "You know, Mom, it's going to be okay."
Water there.
People, either homeowners or developers, are buying up bungalows and tearing them down and putting up estate homes. These people come in next door, they excavate, they build, they do what they do, and now we have a problem.
Got two downspouts at the rear of the house.
I immediately started documenting everything.
Two more downspouts, again, angled right to our property.
There was a large storm.
I'm putting some little cedar leaves into the water just to show the flow of the water.
And you could see the water draining from their downspouts. As soon as it exited, it would curl and rush towards our backyard. We had, I would say, approximately 4 to 5 inches of water and slush pooling. Water was now up against the foundation. The damage was extensive.
Maybe the builder should be talking to the homeowner beside them to say, this is what we're doing. Do you have any concerns? How can I work with you? And vice versa. That means the homeowner should be talking to the builder.
The first words that we uttered to the builder and said, we have water damage, and he hung up on us. I don't know how else to describe it, but he was giving us the finger.
So being the referee means I'm going to step in and say, who's at fault here, and what do we have to do to fix it?
If he says they're not at fault, then that's a blow to us and our lawsuit. But at the same token, I think that we have the relief that he's going to fix it.
How long you been here?
Approximately 10 years.
10 years. And you never had a leak at all in 10 years on your foundation?
Never. It's been completely maintenance-free.
We do have cracking issues here. I can see it at the window. So I'm going to look for any path that is going to come in. That's one of them right there. Now, when you look at a cinder block foundation, this is like a champagne glass. Have you ever piled up champagne glasses and pour your champagne in the top and it trickles down all to fill the other glasses?
Right.
The same effect with a cinder block wall is going to happen that way, and it will find a way to get in if it gets through into the block. Part of what I believe in is to educate everyone. Well, what's wrong with the house? What do you need to do? How to maintain your home? And speaking of maintaining, is that the problem with this house? That home is over 60 years old. Is water coming off the other house and coming into their home simply because a big home was built there? Or is it as simple as a maintenance issue on your own home? I'll find out.
This is where most of the water was here. Again, about 4 to 5 inches of water and slush.
Their property starts to run down to the back, which should actually run water that way. This just appears to be a pooling area here. Don't like that pine tree so close to your house. They have a tendency to put their roots and fingers right down into the weeping tile, block the weeping tile. It doesn't do its job to get out back to the street, and what happens is it starts to push its way back up and possibly get into the house. The window is right at grade, so that's another area that can actually penetrate. You need a little bit of ground maintenance here. You're rotting out on your bottom bed here. You're rotting out on these poles here. Just walking around with Tom and Nell, it was really clear to me. I could see why water can come into the house. I mean, there's no window wells around the windows. The windows are right at grade to the home. It's a cinder block home. They crack easy. I love cinder block, but what if there's a crack in the foundation? Water comes in. At this point right now, I've seen enough, and I can see areas that are penetrating your home. That is a definite, and I'd love to see downstairs if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
Okay, so who opened up the wall?
I did.
Okay, the first thing that I see is that block.
Yes.
And that block has continued to crack down the foundation. You've got an issue of water coming in at the window. There's no window well at that window. There's no window well at this window. So there's no controlling of water. And if water can run, it can come in here. Did you call your insurance company when this flooded?
Yes.
Let me guess, because I know the rules. Insurance company says it's leaking from the foundation, there's no insurance.
Exactly. They said it was a maintenance issue, this was seepage. And we disagreed.
Do you know why they do that?
So they don't have to pay us.
Well, I'm telling you that approximately 80% of the houses leak into the foundation. Right. So if they insured leakage from the foundation, they'd go bankrupt because they'd be constantly called, fixing problems, and would never end. Insurance is for, and I mean, I'm sure if you flooded the bathroom or you did anything else, that's a dummy thing, right? They're gonna come in and fix it. Or if a pipe froze and it burst, they're gonna come in, they're gonna fix it because that's what you're insured for.
We've been lucky that he's coming in to fix the problem. He's gonna make it right and gives us that peace of mind. And we gotta let this go and move on. So the first flooding that we discovered on the 21st of February, it started around here.
He's going to help us, and we know that he's going to let us know what the problem is, and he's just going to make it right for us.
So here's the story. First starts with a leak right here.
Wow, so this is from probably their tamping, their foundation, when they were doing all that, because that house is, what, 10 feet away at
There's
the
a
most?
crack in the foundation that's been there for years. So that means the crack's here, the crack's on the other side, and you look at the way the side of this house is done, it's the area that water's gonna infiltrate.
Right.
So at a freezing time and a lot of rain coming, water runs across the top of the ground instead of being absorbed into it and ran in here. The water obviously wicked right out to the whole floor. But I mean, let's look at this now. The basement's half decent. It's still in great shape. It's a cinder block home.
There's no smell of mold down here?
There's no smell of mold.
No.
I don't want to gut the whole basement. We're addressing the foundation from the outside. We're going to repair this area. So should I drop everything? No.
Not if it's good.
So we'll take down the outside wall, the outside wall, the outside wall at this point, see what we look at, whether or not we go further in that room, because there's no water in there, and they're going to waterproof it.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're not going in that room either? There's no sense, right?
No. Let's just go with carpet. We're going to repair the areas, because there's nothing really wrong with this house other than stopping the water from coming in. Let's work from the outside and correct the inside.
Gotcha, man.
Well, we can see here,
They've parged it.
they parged it in some foundation coating, and in its day, that was the premium package. That was all out for its time, what they've done here. You know, a lot of homes of this age, some of them have just got a thin coat of foundation coating, which is essentially black paint. It will help deter the moisture into the block, but it won't stop any water. It's actually still in the building code today.
And if we're going to do that, you want to bring it up at least to the top of that block, right? To have it down there beneath grade level, that's just an area for water to penetrate. And actually, I want to clean up that backyard to make it look good for the two kids. It hasn't been, let's call it, manicured. Bringing the right guys will make a difference. That's what John does. He's really good at this. Now, what a foolish thing to do. As much as that looks so beautiful, let's put it right beside the house so the homeowner takes a hose and waters the side of the house.
The wood's gonna rot, the rot's gonna stay. It's gonna stay on the block.
So I want that to come out.
Okay.
You can tell the way the grass is that we've got a lot of issues, and I don't know if it's a maintenance issue, but more than anything, a grading issue.
Yes. Let's get this open for the kids. They'll have their deck space, they'll have their walking space. They'll have a nice bright lawn. We'll get some of these trees trimmed back here and bring a bit more light in.
It's gonna be a little tight getting your machine in here. What do you want to do with this?
If we can just pull it off the wall, I mean, it looks like one piece.
You don't want to save it?
No, we'll rebuild it. It's really, if you look at it, Derek, it's falling apart anyway. They didn't build it very well, so just lose it, okay?
How the hell are you gonna bring that in here?
Well, we're gonna try to tie these branches back, and that the machine's got collapsible tracks.
What does he do? He goes right through the side of the house. And what he told me he was gonna do, I didn't believe it. He just went boom. It didn't hurt anything. It wasn't just that he was so close to the fence or so close to the house. He was a ½ inch away from the meter, and that's where all the power's coming in. Didn't touch a thing, didn't hurt a thing. Okay. Look at the bottom of that window right there.
Yeah.
Crack in the foundation. Another one right there. Is that a clay weeper? Yeah?
We found 0 gravel on the weeper. So with this fine sand and no gravel, that's worst case scenario, too.
Well, that means one good thing. The sandy soil is going to give great drainage, but it's going to block the weeper.
Yeah. Well, what happens with the old clay weeping tile system is these terracotta tiles, they just sit right beside each other. There might be a ½ centimeter gap in between them. So you take a fine granular sand like this, and it's just gonna filter its way through there. The sediment's gonna fill right up, and then the weeping tile doesn't drain as fast as it did.
So you're going to assume the weeper's not even working?
Yeah, it's not, I wouldn't make a new connection to any lines if this weeper's not doing its job.
So if I get Martin to come in here and run, just to scope it down, just to see if roots are in it already, that's not a bad idea.
Video camera will tell us exactly what we're up against. So far, actually, the weeping tile is in a pretty good condition up until that point. I'm at 41 feet, and I have actually a large offset in a clay pipe. It's at the joint. The water was seeping into the ground, and the stability of the pipe was compromised, creating a large gap and opening, obviously allowing some of that water to escape out of that weeping tile and perhaps impacting the wall. That's why we have issues in the basement. And this locator will actually tell me where the head of the camera is located with a reference to the house. It will tell me the exact location and the depth. It's actually pinpointing a signal right here where the signal is most powerful. And I'm getting a depth of just under 5 feet. And considering that we need to obviously expose this entire side wall and waterproof it, this will be ideal time to rectify this problem as well as any other deficiencies that we come across.
Demo day is actually fun day. This is the day that we get to wreck things. I mean, who doesn't like wrecking things?
Hey, boys!
I've got another one.
You really got to know what you're doing. You have to know what's behind walls. You just don't go in smashing things because someone, A, can get hurt. You can actually screw something up and have to fix something else. But they've been doing this long enough. They know what they're doing.
It's one thing they should have never missed.
I just found a massive hole in the wall. And this is definitely below grade. Yeah, it's moist in there. Okay. Now, this is what I don't like about some of the common building practices that are still in use today. Making holes in your outside cinder block wall to fit a plug. Now, if they had used a proper 2x4 wall here, getting their proper R value, they wouldn't have had the issue with going into the block. So we know they've strapped this wall, which means they've strapped the rest of the walls here, which means they've created holes for their electrical boxes everywhere.
After further investigation of the house, I gotta tell you, the two big boys beside them were not entirely at fault for the problems. I mean, I found holes in the foundation, cracks right down to the floor. I even found a clear hole that I could see through. And this is just the beginning. There's more.
The guy put foil tape around this one so it can conduct better. This is the proper way to make a fire. This guy must have been to some kind of organization where they taught him how to make fire with aluminum.
That's not this one.
No, so I didn't like that. I don't like that.
I guess not.
So, quick question.
Yes?
Do you think we should take down the ceiling?
Why should we drop the ceiling, Mr. Bennett?
I know why we have to drop the ceiling, but it's the electrical.
What about HVAC?
That too, because we don't know how they tied this in.
We don't have a register over the window. We don't have a register over the window.
That's
we have
a
a
good
register
point.
in the middle of the room. Drop the ceiling.
That means 1, 2, 3, 4 rooms of dropping the ceiling, if you want to look at HVAC.
There is no register here. And one register by the ceiling.
And look at this. This was hidden in the ceiling too, Mike. That was in the bulkhead, closed, no access panel to that, okay?
Brilliant.
I know.
How do you shut the water off? You don't.
So we're going the full meat and potatoes here. We're dropping the ceiling through 4 areas.
At this point, do these just here, right?
So don't go.
Depending on what we find in here, will tell us about that room. I think sometimes people are just under the assumption Mike's coming in, he's gonna rip everything apart, he's gonna make the whole house new again. Look, there's a couple of reasons. One, I don't want to keep the family out of the house. 2, if it's not broke, I'm not going to fix it, right? I fix what's broke. I'm here to make it right. If the basement needs to be replaced, I'm going to fix it. That's it. See that another little wasp nest? He's making sure no other bugs, wasps, because you literally follow him, he'll zap anything in the area.
You get out of here. We're working here.
He said that, not me.
I'd like Mike to show this story so that people know what to look for when they're in our situation and when they're in a neighborhood where there are new homes going up and where there's huge excavation and remodeling taking place.
As homes transfer from owner to owner over the years and people hire landscapers, a lot of times the grade gets built up.
That's exactly what they've done. This used to be a lower grade, and that brick should never be underground.
It takes the moisture in, it goes into the frost cycle, and it starts the spalling process, which we can see now, the face of the brick.
You're supposed to have 8 inches, minimum 6, but 8 inches of foundation above grade. So we have 2 rows of brick below grade.
We are gonna put a coating over the brick, and then we're gonna put our waterproofing membranes over the parge coating, so we'll have it from grade level down to the footing like it's supposed to be.
The first step in repairing the foundation is to grind out those cracks and expand the holes. Then when we put in the hydraulic cement, it actually gets right in there. When it dries, it expands to a closed area. We then install a multi-layer membrane system right from the footings right up just above grade. Now, the good thing about this, it remains flexible in movement. At the same time, it keeps it watertight. All of this is then covered with a dimpled membrane product. Not only does this protect the coating, it also stops the water from coming in.
Clay weeping tile is very common on this age of the house. This house is at least 60 years old. Problem was they didn't use the right building materials back then. They just didn't know. They didn't use a gravel bed around it to let water drain but not have the earth compacted. So when you see broken clay underground, good indication it's just the weight of the earth. Over the years, there could have been a small hairline crack going down the middle of that when they first installed it, and just the weight of the earth over the years, compressing and compacting, will crush that tile. They're doing window wells, but not only are they doing window wells, they're doing vertical tees, meaning that they have their weeping system going around the house, but anytime there's a window well, they're gonna put a vertical. This place isn't leaking for a long time. Okay, so here's what I wanted to ask you. I understand, like, you don't like the water running down in here, but what if we just lost this, put a storm door on that door, put a little awning and let the sun hit this?
I'd rather not such an open area that's direct water flow going down to the drain. I really would. Like, you gotta look at it as, what if it just pours? And what if it blocks the drain? It's gonna come up into the house. And if we pull this shrub out, those shrubs out, and we build, you know, a nice little unit with just a pitch roof, follow it in and then tie it right back into the straight, it's gonna give a design. Again, the privacy lattice on this side. That's gone, the bushes are gone. Now this becomes, in a way, a focal point, and we do what? We stop the water from even touching the stairs.
Okay, the pergola here. Now, I was looking at that.
Pergola.
Well, whatever you want to call this bloody thing.
We'll call
over
it a
here.
pergola.
I like it. It doesn't bother me.
I
The
don't
only problem
mind
is
this.
that.
This is because it gives great privacy on the side here.
Now, what about these
But
posts
these are
here?
pressure-treated posts.
These posts have to be brought in, right?
Yeah, that was obviously done by someone that's not smart enough.
Maybe just replace that one post because of the rod, eh?
Well, just that one? Look at the other one.
No, I like that one. All right, I'm replacing 2 posts. And what we'll do is we'll just rip this down first, and then we'll come up with a plan on how to build it. We all took it down really easily. I mean, the way they built it wasn't great. They built wood right onto the actual sills, allowing water to suck right in. So it came up easy. What we're gonna do is we're gonna rip all this out. We're gonna get rid of all that, so you could place the post wherever you really want here. This is a good reason why this thing had to come down. I mean, this was all pressed in together with other wood. It just saturated up the water right from the ground. I mean, we don't have anything with saddles. These should be sitting in saddles to keep it at least 1/8 of an inch off the ground so the water's just not sucking right up through it. And that's why you can see all the bottom of these posts are disintegrating. Now, do you think there's any structure support there? I don't think so. So every basement needs R12 insulation by code. Now what we're using is a comfort board on the walls first. It's gonna give us an R6 on the walls. We're then gonna stud with a 2x4 in front of it. Have Frank run his electrical, have Martin do any plumbing or HVAC from Gary if we need to. Then we're gonna use an R14 insulation in between the studs to a cumulative R value of R20 in the basement. I'm also gonna need this ceiling dropped. I'll tell you why. Since we dropped all these ceilings right here, there's 7 junction boxes, which means this house is a rewire. Now, this is exactly what I knew. The ceiling came down and we found junction boxes. There has been massive renovations in this house over the years. You can see it on every floor that we've been in. Every room we've been in has been touched at some point. 7 junction boxes, which means somebody that did electrical here didn't know what they were doing, which is all of a sudden scary. Guys, this is why we tore down the ceiling. Look at this. We have an open junction right there.
Jeez, you weren't kidding, eh?
First time I see it, right?
There's one here.
You got another one there, you got one here, you got one here, another open junction here with just tape lines. What a mess. Somebody's really messed this house up electrically. Wet armpit time. It's wet armpit time.
Anyone would be dead but the boss.
Take a good look at that.
That's not
Is there a hole at the back of the box?
Yeah.
Go ahead, stick your finger in there. No? Bringing in the team, I want to have fun with them. I'm not going to let her get electrocuted. She's my daughter.
Don't scare me.
It was your dad. It was your dad. The next 4 days is going to be all about the electricians. Whatever they need, we're going to do because we have 4 days to rewire this house. So that's why it's all about moving furniture today. We're stopping framing and everything else until we get this moved, okay? If I pull this here. The floors are protected a little bit.
Okay, okay.
Just gotta get to the light.
They've taken down the ceiling. They found over 15 junction boxes in that small little area, which led us up to here, which has found more issues. We had this counter plug that was here. It was picking up the dishwasher. That's a no-no. Counter plug has to be a counter plug. A lot of incorrect things up here. Right away, I got a one-wire switch. I got a one-wire light. There should be in one of these boxes 2 wires. There's not. There's a junction box somewhere. Junction boxes. A lot of people think you can bury them behind the wall. Bury them behind drywall, hide them. That's wrong. Code says they need to be accessible.
The dangers of it is that if a line comes loose and any arcing happens inside that box, you wouldn't know where it is.
Right.
Could it be an electrical fire? 110%. The bigger problem is when you call in your electrical contractor to try to find a problem. How's he gonna find it if it's buried in the ceiling? So downstairs in the basement, we clearly saw lots of junction boxes. When you come upstairs and you start looking around the wiring upstairs, it's no different. We're finding junction boxes everywhere, which has turned this house into a rewire. The rewire portion is a very big job. As you can see, the amount of damage that we need to make in order to get the wires from A to B. It's holes everywhere. We're turning your house into Swiss cheese. The drill bits that we're using, like you take bits that are 5 feet long. How are you gonna end up getting these bits through? You have to make the holes.
Using a longer drill bit means we can go further through more studs, means less holes and less repairs. I've heard it a lot where the cost to rewire a house is a huge expense. Well, think about it. You got to break holes everywhere in the house, especially in an older home, to run all new lines again, and that means repairs. That's a large amount of dough to run new electrical. Not to mention, you got to drywall it, plaster it, prime it, paint it.
And try to match the color. We're gonna take samples like this to the paint store and having the paint store match the same color. By matching the same color, they're only gonna have to paint this wall, not the entire room. So using our head ahead of time saves a lot of time down the road.
Now, from this main floor, now I gotta go up into the attic. I gotta make sure all these pot lights are done correctly. Are they rated for insulation? Do they have a vapor barrier over them? Do they have proper connectors? Of course, hottest day of the year, gotta go in the attic. What do we find up there? Found junction boxes. A few of them that are like 3 feet apart from each other. It's a wiring mess, wires everywhere. The pot lights, they're garbage, they're cheap. They actually have the vapor barriers that are supposed to be over the pot lights. They're just laying around in the attic, not doing what they're supposed to do.
We go into the attic and we find a junction box. Do we leave it accessible? Is it by code? Sure, leave it accessible. In the attic? No. Let's just rewire it, do it right. We're gonna make holes while we get here, but at the end of the day, they're gonna end up having a safer home, no junction points, night and day to what we've actually come into.
So here's a good example of not doing concrete the proper way. You see, they tried to put some rebar thinking that it was gonna strengthen this pad. But if you just drop the rebar on the gravel and pour the concrete on top, it's not gonna do anything. This should have taken me half an hour, 40 minutes to break out. It literally took me 5 minutes. And all they had to do was just raise this a couple of inches, and this thing would have lasted forever. Look at this. They use an old gate for it to strengthen this. Now, mind you, it would have worked if it was in the concrete, but what a bunch of junk. Mike wanted me to get this tree out of here, but at this point, I'm unsure. We're trying, I mean, you know, to buy this is gonna cost him like $6 grand to get something this beautiful back. So what we're gonna try and do now is if we can dig away from the roots and get it loose and get it out, we'll try and move it. If we can't, I think what I'm gonna do, I may just get rid of the 6x6 that's against the wall that's bothering Mike, and then we'll build a stone retaining wall off of there, just to keep this intact. It's a beautiful tree, and we do want to preserve it.
I'm always looking for heating and air conditioning issues, right?
Yeah.
So, one right off the bat, I don't see them.
Yeah.
I don't see a return down here.
Just sloppy.
Sloppy mess, right? But we can fix it. That's not a problem. Let me take a look at the rest of the house, and
Let me know.
we'll go from there.
Don't scare me, buddy.
Gary confirmed everything we knew already. Reheat registers were too far away from the windows. That means opening up the bulkheads, dropping the ceilings, running all new ductwork just to have proper air movement. Come on.
The trick is, we don't want to actually crop the canopy. We want it to look natural, so just by taking a lot of the excess limbs and leaves and stuff like that off, you're taking the weight off of it, which is going to allow that branch to lift itself back up. So you still have a nice looking canopy, and it doesn't look cropped. Feel the air? Just get rid of some of this overgrowth, and the air comes right on through.
2 feet down past the joist. Okay. This job started off small. It's a whole home rewire. I gotta do everything new. Every time we open something, what do we find? We find a junction box. Get rid of it, rewire it. Everything is completely different. There's a lot more involved. All these plugs down here are all brand new. Everything is leading back into this room. Imagine this as the vein, your blood, the electricity that's traveling through these wires. And the heart of everything is in this room, where we're gonna have to change the panel, because again, this panel we don't like, it's not expandable. When we're done the rewire, we don't have enough room. Rip out this panel, put the panels that we prefer, which are expandable, no issues.
Next steps is gonna be insulation and drywall. Once Frank's done today, it's full bore ahead back in that basement to get it done. You know what, mudding is like the final coat. It's the final thing before you put on paint. You make it look really good, and that's how your house is gonna look. So you really wanna take some time on it.
Need some grapes.
Some great, oh, a bottle of wine too?
Bottle of wine.
We're grateful he's here because him and his crew, they're taking a big weight off our shoulders. Again, this has been, since February, a very, very stressful situation. They've taken down the ceiling downstairs, which is why we had to rewire, finding more than 20 junction points of electricity throughout. I mean, we popped the ceiling in that room, in the back room. All of this is down. This was the damaged area. So what we did is we wanted to make sure that we used water-resistant, fire-resistant wood. This makes total sense to me. We don't want it to mold. By putting up the Roxel comfort board directly, and we can actually see it on this side here, by putting the Roxel comfort board directly against the foundation, that's gonna help keep the foundation stable temperature, not warm at the bottom, cool at the top. Coming out with studs, bat insulation in front of it, sound bat insulation in the ceiling. This is the way it should all be. And if you look at the color of the drywall, you're gonna clearly see that we're using a mold-resistant drywall. Everything that we do was all about one area in this house that actually probably spread this job into about, I don't know, 5 weeks? 5 weeks? Yeah. And we'll get it done.
Yep.
Before we started this, I was thinking about bringing the excavator back, stripping all the sod, but, you know, then I thought about it, so, you know, I'm just gonna bring the sod cutter. Yeah, it's one blade that runs right under the carriage. All we gotta do is just scrape it really thin since we're replacing everything anyway. And all we gotta do after that is just start raking it up into small piles. We had to keep the original soil here, just take out the clippings. We just add soil and away we go.
I've had Carlito and Blake framed this up because you can see the way it's going to look. It's a nice cedar. We brought it up higher. We're gonna make sure we take a peaked roof right out to the end, protecting the stairs. We're gonna have Derek help me do the roof line. I've been there, done that. I've done hundreds of kitchens, bathrooms, additions, you name it. I've done the mudding, I've done the plumbing, I've done the electrical. I love framing. You get that? I love framing. I'm framing outside today. I can do this in mathematical calculations, or I can do it real fast. Just setting it up. It's gonna look really good. The whole idea was to keep it up a little higher, a little further out to protect the staircase. Not me. Not me. What's our crown on that? This is the hard part here because you have the roof line coming over and tying into the wall space. That's gonna take some wicked cutting in there. But after I get this done, that'll become easy. We're just gonna sheathe this, put up some nice cedar shingles, dress it up just a little bit, make it look really good.
I gotta finish the mudding, so once we get that done, I can start on my baseboard casing. We have Lee coming in for carpet. I can bring Frank in for finished electrical. Almost there.
Go, girl.
I love taping because it's much quicker. I find it to be more than half as quick as brushing against your finished baseboards. So what we like to do is, you can see here there's a gap between the baseboard and the wall. We fill that with caulking. And then what you're gonna do to make sure you always get a clean line is you're gonna tape to the top edge of the caulking where it meets the wall.
The story of David and Goliath. 2 big houses, 1 small house. The homeowners think they're causing a flood in the basement. And it wasn't really the fault of the 2 bigger houses. And to solve this problem, we do what it takes. Let me tell you the price. Exterior, foundation waterproofing, landscaping, lumber, wood framing, and roofing, subtotal $37,700. The interior, electrical, HVAC, plumbing, carpet, framing, drywall, trim, paint, subtotal $39,850. Miscellaneous, waste bins, cleaners, rental equipment, all the lighting fixtures, $6,350 for a grand total of $83,900. That doesn't include our labor.
Thank you for people like you and this whole organization that are here to help us.
We gotta paint everything up, clean like crazy, get some grass in the backyard. After all that's done, it's the little things, you know, the little bit, what I call lipstick and mascara, caulking, cleaning, touching, squeezing, reveal.
As much as I know the place is fixed and done right, there's also that apprehension of, oh my God, is there gonna be water in the basement? Just because we're so used to having that when we walk in.
Great day, last day, you know what it's like. We're all running, everyone's around, paint touch-ups, last-minute electrical, lighting, everyone's doing the little things. Finishing the backyard. You know, we want them to be really excited when they come home. I got a little worry, though. We're supposed to have a major thunderstorm later, right around the time that I'm bringing them home. 2 thumbs up if it doesn't rain. If it does, we're gonna need a whole lot of umbrellas. I know, it's raining. Come on under here, come on under here.
Seems like it's always raining around here.
Hi, Mike. Good to see you again.
Good to see you. Tommy?
Thank you.
Nel?
Good to see you.
I mean, think about it. How wild is it that now we can go inside your basement? I want to start here for a reason. Does it look a little different?
Does it look a little different?
I'm just curious. You don't see anything different?
It's been 5 weeks. Let me keep looking.
It's painted. Yeah, it's painted because we had to completely rewire your house So it's very old wiring, never been updated. Should have been probably picked up by a home inspector, you, someone. Did anyone ever tell you your electrical was not good?
No, they actually said everything was very good.
So we rewired your whole house, then plastered it, then fixed it all, obviously, then painted it, the whole house.
You know, it wasn't just a matter of them dealing with the problem, it was finding other issues and not turning a blind eye to them. Wow.
We opened up that outside wall, this outside wall, cleaned it all up, redesigned it, reran all kinds of HVAC. You had a lot of duct issues. Reran all the new electrical, restudded the outside walls. Major insulation on the outside walls, fixing all the electrical, putting everything back again, rebuilding all the windows, the wood, all the trim, and then, of course, bringing in my wonderful carpet guy and redoing the carpet.
That's great. It felt like a whole new basement. It was inviting, it was warm, it was comfortable, it was beautiful, it was family home. It was a family basement now.
It poured so much rain in the last hour, I can't believe it. And we took a look outside. There's no water coming in whatsoever. All new weeping tile from that point all the way out. We did find some blockages. We did find some issues. We fixed what we need to fix. That's why it's drained. After all that rain, it's drained. Your weeping tile is working.
Okay.
Otherwise, this would be still full of water.
Okay, that's great.
Oh, look at this.
Oh, wow. Does that ever look better, eh?
Oh, yeah.
I took that thing down that you had. I really like this. Cedar with the copper trim all the way around it. Doesn't that look and smell good?
It does, yeah. And the grass, we have green grass. The last time we had seen the backyard, it was nothing but puddles, really. The kids couldn't play soccer in the backyard. They couldn't go back there. Not only is the grass green, it's dry, there's no puddles, and it looks twice as big. I don't know how they did that, but it looks amazing.
And
amazing.
salvage those, our trees, the Japanese maples.
Oh, that's right, look.
So we took this completely apart because it was rotten, falling apart.
Yep.
We kept the structure at the top because it worked. All your vertical was completely rotten out.
Yeah.
Doesn't that look
good? It looks
good?
like a different backyard altogether.
It looks bigger.
Wow.
It looks so much bigger.
It does. That's amazing.
Wow.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's gorgeous.
Think your kids are gonna like to see this?
Oh, yeah.
Should we get them?
Let's get them. Can we get them?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll go get them.
Okay, you go get 'em.
You know, now we're home and it's the way it should be and it looks so nice and they worked so hard. It's just amazing what Mike and his crew do. It's just amazing. I don't know how else to put it.
It's really, the only way to say it is just very simply like thank you to Mike and everybody. It's a different home. It's home, and we're glad to be back, but it is different in a good way. And it's great.
Are you gonna play soccer now with Daddy? Yeah. Look over here. Oh, come on this side over here.
Does this look different?
Yeah.
Look at this.
Doesn't that look amazing?
Maintaining your home is really important because it wasn't just the foundation. We had electrical problems, we had HVAC problems. We actually had a lot of problems. Your home is where you live. It's where your kids are. And if you really don't look into it and protect it from the outside, the inside becomes such a bad feeling. Nel and Tom, you could tell that pain just fell off them when they came in the house. So you can tell them the smile. You can tell the pressure's gone.
Bring on the rain.
We're
Doesn't matter now.
We're fortified. Yeah, we're fortified. It can rain all at once now. And,
Not an issue.
No concerns.
It's great.
One more thing we found on the front. Actually, we went over the front already, didn't we? I'm hallucinating. I really gotta get out of here.
Come on, you'll love them.
For more information about this show, please visit hgtv.ca.